Hi, welcome back to MindView 6 on the Mac, and today specifically I'm going to be looking at timelines and Gantt charts. I'm giving the basics of using the methodology. Also, definitely have a look on the left here, for example, company management templates, and they give you some good templates on Gantt charts as well. Also, if you actually scroll down to history, you've got some good timelines there to look at as well. So what I'm going to do is go back to all, and I want to select, instead of selecting timeline or Gantt, I'm going to start in a mind map view. I can choose standard mind map, top down or left to right. So I'm going to choose just a standard mind map, and I'm going to take that mind map and convert it into a timeline and lay it into a Gantt chart. So double tap it. Now bear in mind you have to make sure you set up your document correctly first. For example, I couldn't set up the document type as a Gantt chart and then change it to a timeline and vice versa, because it won't keep the time settings you've done, you'll lose it all. So bear that in mind. So let's do a project. So I'm going to do how about weekly lesson plan. I'm going to create a timeline, so I'm going to tap on that. Now come to the right, and this is called your inspector. Now if you don't see it there, it's because nothing at the top has been selected or highlighted. So if I untap that option, your inspector's gone. You need to select it to bring your inspector up. Now first thing I'm going to do as we come down here is you need to set up your document type first. So I'm going to select timeline. And it's going to tell you that any information, existing time information, will be removed. But as I've not added anything yet because I'm changing it, because I'm starting from fresh and not converting, click OK. And the next time scale option, I need to choose here whether I want to do daily, weekly, historic or geological. I'm actually going to choose daily, so I can do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Again, you choose exactly what you want. The warning comes up again about losing any existing time information. So make sure you know how you're starting your map. I'm definitely using the timeline, timescale, daily. I cannot change it. Right, let's start building off our map. So first I need to create your first branch. Now it's the first time you've ever used MindView 6 on the Mac. I've done another video tutorial on my YouTube channel. So have a little look on that, gives you all the basics and settings on using MindView 6 on the Mac. So go in the corner to create your first branch by double tapping, or use the shortcut key enter on the keyboard. Now I'm going to type into there, as I'm doing a weekly plan, Monday. I'm going to highlight the middle one again, which is my main task, double tap and click into there, and I'm going to call that Tuesday. You get the idea, Monday, Tuesday, that you can carry on going around for the full week. Now always remember you work clockwise, so 1 o'clock's your first day. So if I come down in here and you have any problems with that, go to the inspector, select a numbering scheme there, and that will number them for you. If you actually want your main title to be numbered as well, click that and it'll number that as well as part of it. But I'm not going to number it for this timeline and tap off it. So I've got Monday, I've selected timeline, and I'm doing a daily timeline. So I'm now going to create a little branch off of here. Now if you just press Command and Enter, we'll create a sub branch for you, or you can just double tap the corner. So the first thing I'm going to do on a Monday morning, I'm going to have lesson 1. And again, you'll put your own titles in there for your lectures or your modules or whatever you need to put in there. Double tap. I'm having lunch. And tap there, Command Enter again. You don't need to click into a branch once you've created, just type lesson 2. So there's my map so far. And again, you go down to Tuesday, Command Enter, and you can start working off of that what you want there. Now, what I'm actually going to do with this, I'm going to turn it into a timeline. Now I've not added any times or dates. We could add the information if you come up to Inspector and select the first option, My Map Inspector. Then click on an actual branch you want to add time into, and there it is. You can add the time and end date that way. But what I want to do is go to View, and I want to turn it into a timeline. Now as you see, we're in timeline mode, and there's nothing on our timeline yet, but that's not an issue, because we can now start adding them. We've got Monday, and we've got lesson 1. So what time is lesson 1? I'm going to double tap. That's going to be day 1. Select hour, and shall we say 10 o'clock's fine. So that's when my first lesson starts. Now if I hold the left button and drag this out so you can see it's a little bit better, so I'll add the times in. So when does that lesson end? Double tap. Well, I know it starts at 10. I'm going to make sure that's on 1 and drag that round when the lecture finishes 12. and there's my first timeline at the top. And I can build it up through here. So you've got the linear format at the bottom. On the right you can add your dates in there as well if required, and you can see as you build it in the middle there, weekly lesson plan. But if I go back to view and my map, you also get the my map option there if you need it. Now if I click into lesson 1, you can't see the times and dates in there, only in the inspector on the right, but it'd be nice to see the start and end times underneath each branch. Well, not a problem. Go to the bottom and tick start and end time, and that way you can then click on lunch and start adding your time and dates off there. But I want to go back to timeline. I want to give you choices if you want to build it visually there and then see it in both visually and linear formats. So let's do lunch quickly. So lunch will be, say, 12 to 1. So again, I'm going to drag that round to 12, but have a look at the day. Make sure you get the day right as well. So day 1, 12, and lunch to about 1 o'clock. So drag that round to 1300. And as I build it, you see my timeline. Also, I've got lunch. I could click into branch comment on the right here, and I could put in there's a little good branch comment. Click enter. So now if I hover over here, double tap it, it brings it up for you. Stay clear of the donuts as it's starting to show. So that's your first option there. So you can create your timelines that way and build them as you're going along. While you're actually in this option, let me show you. If you click on, say, lesson 1, come to your spectre on the right and go to the top. You've got this little paintbrushy thing here. Tap that for your format. So I can change the background and the text colour if I want. But also, if you click into any of these branches here, for example, I'm going to click into my symbol there, I can then change the fill colours and even shapes. So you might decide I want more of a rounded shape there. I'm going to change my font. You might even want to change the fill colour or even the branch frame. So if I add a little bit of orange there, and then you can add a little tint there if you want, just to liven it up. And you're really feeling daring, why not add some shadows? So if I click standard, scroll to the bottom, choose my angle, and then choose distance. Then I can pull that distance out, as you can see there, and choose which position you want that at. So there's some formatting options, but there's more again. Let's click on lunch. Again, come to your inspector, come up the top, and if you go right to the end, you've got some clip art. Click on clip art and let's pop something in there. So what should we pop in? I'm going to pop in food. And then I'm going to drag, have I got any donuts? No, I'm just going to drag some cabbage. I can assure you that I definitely don't eat cabbage. I'm more of a donut man. So there's our map so far, timeline building. Now what I'm going to do next is, let's go back to view and look at map. And you'll see whatever I add in timeline view will then be added here as well, including the little notes and any clip art. See what a powerful option it is. So it depends on how you want to actually build it, your timeline. Go back to timeline again. Now what I'm going to do is export it as a PDF or an image format. So come up to File and select Export. You can choose to include, for example, floating pictures if you've added them. You can choose which format you want, and again, JPEG is really compressed. PNG is probably better quality, it's not compressed. I'm going to use JPEG and just drop the quality up to about 90%, and then I can export that and you'll have that as a map. Or you can do HTML for the internet, and you can actually choose a template here to export it as. Let me try that out. So I'm going to click export, save it to the desktop, and I'm going to click open. Then click yes to say it's been exported, and then come to the left here, look at my weekly plan timeline as I've built it, all organised in a HTML website. You see what a powerful option this is. I'm going to close that. Also you can export it as a standard PDF portable document format if you want as an image, and print it out. The options are entirely yours. So that's timelines. Just another quick thing I want to show you on timelines. I want to go to view. I want to go back to my map. Again, we've got our spectre here and we can add various options. Now let me click on a branch. I'm going to select lesson 2. Now when I select lesson 2, see the branch option comes up in the inspector. I want to select objects. Now you can attach whatever you want to that. If I click attachment, I can attach any file that might be relevant to lesson 2. It could be slides that you've downloaded prior. It could be your own notes, it could be a PDF, it could be absolutely anything. I'll just add an image. Hover over and there's my paperclip. If I double tap it, it will then open up and I can access that quickly. Okay, so click on lesson 2 again. The next option we got there is websites. So you can type a website name in that might be relevant maybe to lesson 2. I'll just put in lesson 2 Google and then pop in and click OK. We've now hover over, you've now got the link for that attachment and you've got an internet link as well. And see here on the right, because I've clicked on it, we've got all the links. And if you want the link to open a new window, you can select that as well. Also, you might decide to record something else. You might record your own voice as a note, audio note quickly. Click it, press record, testing 1 2 3, click stop and then attach it to your branch. Again, more options. Go over the paperclip and then we now have 3 of them. This is to capture a picture and this is to screenshot. So you can screenshot another map. So if I click that, I've now screenshotted it. So if I come over here, I've got my screenshots there, double tap, brings up my screenshots of the map. So as you can see, a really powerful option. Now let's go back to timeline again, see how that's looking. And you see in timeline, if I scroll down to the bottom linear format, let me just drag that up for you a second. You can see any attachments I've added are all listed down here as well. Now you see me export it as a timeline. Let me export it as a mind map so we see how that looks. File, export. This time I'm going to export it to Word. Choose a little template. You can leave it blank, APA for psychology, or you might use the more general one, Harvard style. It's entirely up to you. So I'm going to leave it on calm. Select options, and then we choose what we want to export. So I want the map exported. Table of contents, not this time, and I've not got any bibliographies, references added to this. And then you can tick what you want and what you don't want. I normally untick priority resources on completion so they don't show up in your final work, as you'll see. Now we're going to export that and have a look. Select save, and I'm going to open it. Click yes, and we should now have that all in a Word document. And there it is. There's my mind map at the top, and if I scroll down, we've got everything in order, including that note I added, the donuts that are on the right, any clip art, and it's all in total order. So see how we create a timeline but also a mind map, so we can work on either one, export them to what you want and then print them out if need be. Just one last thing on timelines. Click view, timeline, that could be really useful. Go to file, now go to show print view. Now to print that out is not going to work, is it? It's too small, it's just too narrow, it's not working. How about we flip that A4 around with a bit of landscape there? Yeah, a bit better, but still a bit small in the dates and everything. Not a problem. Why don't we add some horizontal? So that's 3 horizontal A4 bits of paper. Select scale to fit. You now have your map ready to print out as one big timeline. Again, another real good option. Again, you might want to add vertical if you want, and then again scale to fit, and you can actually play with the actual size here if need be to get that how you want it. So I'm going to click close on that, and last of all I'm going to go back to your mind map. I've shown you how to clip up, but you might want to colour code stuff, colour band stuff to help you remember. So remember, we go up the top here and we've got an option there called Format Inspector. Click it and we can change the colours. See, lesson 2 could be something specific to a certain topic, so you might want to change the colour. So I'm going to change that colour. What should we make that? Like a red? Should I have a blend? No, I'll just make that a reddy colour. So you've made that red, and then you might have lesson 1 that might be a certain colour for a certain topic. Again, you might make that, I don't know, should we make that a blend again, or should I just, no, I'll make that one colour. So there we go. Text now there. Ooh, I could change the colour of that, couldn't I? That's better. So now what I'm going to do is, that's great, so blues for lesson 1, a certain topic, red. But how am I going to remember that? It's a lot to remember. Not really. Come to the top, you've got some options at the top there, haven't you? Select Tools and select Legend. Now hold the left button and drag that where you want. So I've got lesson 1. I'm going to click plus to add a colour. I'm use this dropper just to choose just that colour I want, which will be on there. So if I tap there, it gives me the colour here in my legend, and I can type in there what the topic was. So you might have business law. Then add another one, and if you remember, hold the left button, drag that over. Use the option, choose that colour, tap, and you could call that. And there we go. You create your little colour legend up there as well. So if you ever forget what they mean, they're all there for you. By the way, you don't have to have colours. You could even choose icons if you want. Click on lesson 2. Why don't we add some icon for that one? Actually, no, I'm going to add that to lunch. Let's add a specific icon. So I'm going to put a number 2 for lunch. Click close. So I've got 2 for lunch. If I come up to my legend, make sure you select icon, click plus, and I can choose 2 there. So then I know in my legend what they represent. Now if we turn that back into a timeline, you can see it's not changed anything much there. You still get the icons here. You can see we've got the little 2 there as well, but it doesn't copy over the colours from the branches, so bear that in mind. So go back to My Map. Now if you want to print out your My Map, go to File, always go to Show Print View. I'm going to turn that round to landscape again. I'm going to add another page quickly with horizontal and scale to fit. And you know what I'm going to add as well at the bottom here? Show legend as well. So when I print that out, I've got it all there organised. So there you go, there's some timelining you can try out. But I'm going to try something new. We're going to have a look at the Gantt charting now. So, Command then, or go to File and select New. Again, I could start in Gantt mode, couldn't I? But I can swap to it anyway. So I'm going to start in My Map. Why not start it visually? Then have a look at it in linear format. Now, first thing we need to do on the right here, Inspector again. Remember, it's not there because nothing's highlighted. Make sure you tap it. Document type. I want you to choose this time Project Management. Again, it's going to give you that warning, but we've not added anything. And I'll keep emphasising that, but make sure you choose the correct document type and timescale first, or you could end up putting all your times in and dates and lose a lot. I'm happy with that. Project Management, I'm ready to go. So come to the top right hand corner and select your My Map Inspector. So now I need a project, so I'm going to in plan of some kind. Tap off there. There's no limit to what you can do. We're going to create your first branch, so I'm going to double tap. The first thing I'll do for my learning plan is priority. And you see, as you type in, it will give you alternative spellings, which are correct. So there's my priority. What I'm doing is quick. If you need suggestions, come to the top here and select that suggestions button. And as you type into notes and that, it will give you predictive suggestions. But I'm just going to untap that. So learning plan, what's my priorities first? Create a little branch off of there, so I'll just use Command Enter this time. Tap into there. I need funding for my learning plan. And what else is priority? Accommodation if I have to move away. Then go back to learning plan, double tap and do what's next. And second priority. Remember, if you get spelling, double tap and select the correct spelling there. So this is my little project management I'm planning for myself. So I need to do funding, accommodation. Now come to the right here and you can see why I'm at the top here in the inspector, My Map Inspector. Now I can start adding dates and times. Now bear this in mind, it's no point me adding a time for a priority there. See, when I click on it, you can't do nothing. Because that is dependent on what actually the times and dates you put in funding and accommodation to how long the priority will be. So if you can't add anything in, it's for a reason. You need to put your funding and accommodation in first, and that will determine how long priority will take. So as I come down here, what am I going to do? Do minutes, hours, days, weeks. I'm going to do, so I need to choose what I want to do. So click on funding. I'm going to do months. and you see it automatically gone to 1 month. So from the date to day, it's automatically almost done a month there for you. So do I spend a month doing funding? Maybe I need a bit more time than that. So type in 2 there, click enter. That'll give me 2 months now. Now I'd like to see what's going on in my map, so I'm going to come down and scroll right to the bottom and select start end time so I can see exactly what's going on. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And I could add a bit of information there as well, couldn't I? Branch comment for that. And pop what you want in there. And again, you see you've got a little comment in there, a little note. Tap off that. So now I've started. So I've got priority is funding. I'm spending almost 2 months to do that. Then I'm going to go to accommodation. Now again, I want to work off here, don't I? So 17th of March I finished. So accommodation. Will that be days? Weeks? I'll probably do weeks here. 1 week? No, a bit longer than that. 2 weeks to look for accommodation. And I've got my date. But see the problem? I'm still on the 22nd of January. So double tap. So we can change that. So I could put that as... I could put that 17th of March, which was funding. They can either type it in here or use the calendar and pop it in there. So actually do the 18th. When you pop in the 18th, you can see automatically the date changes to the end because I selected 2 weeks. Again, it doesn't show, not a problem. Scroll to the bottom, add start end time, and then add a note if you want. And now I'm starting to build it and scroll back up. Now you're probably thinking, well, that's all and well, but that's not really a Gantt chart, is it? Well, you can create Gantt chart project management for everything from building a house to your own projects or your own personal life. Now, I haven't gone into more here like priority because I'm not going to use priority. You'd use that if you were doing certain tasks. For example, you might have a garden plan where you might have the tree surgeon come in and that might be a certain priority. You give them a certain amount of time and how much completion needs to be done in that time. You can add it there and even add resources. But what I'm going to do with that map, what I'm actually going to do is turn it into a Gantt chart. So click View and select Gantt. And there's a Gantt chart starting to take shape. Now I'm going to close the inspector on the right by unhighlighting everything. Get the scroll bar and you can see how I've now added that. Let's come up to the top here. First option there was funding 2 months, and after funding's finished I've then gone to look for my accommodation 2 weeks. If I hold the left button along, you can even drag that along further and then leave a few days, or hold the left button and make that a little bit longer, 2.05 months. So you've got the linear format on the left and you've got your Gantt chart on the right. Now I can actually click into here. So if I go to second priority, now I need to do a right click to add a sub branch. So I can right click, select insert and sub branch, or as we did before, command enter, or just select sub branch here. Because this sub branch is going to be under the main task second priority. So I need a sub branch under the second priority. Tap once so I can move all my gear up there. Click on that, and again we can start adding the times in here. I'm currently on day, but if I double tap it, I'm on day. I can change that. I might actually want that as, if I come back down, I could have that as months, couldn't I? Or weeks. There you go, 1 week. But it's still not where I want it, is it? Look, I don't want it to begin in January. I want it to carry on from my last option that finished, which was the 1st of April. So, click into the dates, go along to the 1st of April, pop it in, and close. As you change that to the 1st of April, you can see it automatically changes 1 week to the 7th. And, if you have a look here, the main task has now changed with that date, 1st to the 7th. That's reliant on your actual subtask you put in underneath. I'm just going to hold the right button and drag this along here a bit so you can see what else is here that I'm not using. For example, cost, work, resources, completion, priority. Now in this case I don't need these, so I'm just going to right click and untick. I'll do another tutorial on using project management with resources and stuff at a later date. But I'm just going to get rid of all these just to show you this simple Gantt chart. And I'm going to get rid of priority, I don't need that as well. So you can get rid of whatever you want in there to be shown. And there we go, that kind of makes it more basic. Drag that along and I'm done. Let's see how that's going as a mind map. So click view, select mind map, and there's my mind map, and you can see where I've added book removal there. Again, we've got no inspector on the right. Select your option there, scroll to the bottom, add start end time, and there's your dates. It's a good idea to work between the two. You get the visual mapping and you also get that Gantt chart with the linear format, and it's a good balance you can get there as well. Now, how will that look if we export it as a Gantt chart? So, should we export that? So I'm going to close the inspector by unhighlighting everything. Should we go to File and select Export? Again, choose a template, or you might want to pop it in PowerPoint or rich text format if required, or you might want it as a PNG or just an image, which we did earlier, or you might want it as a website HTML. Again, you've got so many choices. I'm going to leave it on smooth. Go to options. Again, select what you want, really important. Now I tend to leave everything there default. I just get rid of priority, resources and completion. Now if you actually create a Gantt chart with that, we'll leave them in, or they won't show in your final Word document. I've got no bibliographies and I'm not worried about table of contents, but I'm going to export the map as well. Shall we have a look? Click export. Click open. And click yes. And there we are. There's my Gantt chart at the top and all my information underneath, my dates and what I need to do. Click close. But as we say, as a Gantt chart, it'd probably be better if you actually went to File, Show Print View. Again, remember, landscape it. It's still a bit small for us, so why don't we add some horizontal pages? And select scale to fit. Now that's looking like more of a Gantt chart. And you see we've got a linear format on the left here and your actual Gantt chart here. Again, you can scale it here if you need to. Click close. Open the inspector, but I want you to select the inspector format inspector, because on your Gantt chart you might want to change a few colours just to band the colours a bit different. So I've selected funding and I've selected that in the Gantt chart. So I'm going to change the fill colour. I'm going to make that a red. Fill colour, should we make that more of a darker grey? Oh no, that don't work, does it? So make that a bit lighter. Yeah, that works okay. Choose the width for the border, and should we have a dark red border like that? Or you can hide the bar if you want, if you don't want it to show up in your Gantt chart as well. You can change all the colours there. I'm just going to close that inspector, so have a little look at the formatting options. I've got a really good option at the top here. See, we've got Gantt option now in MindView. You only have a Gantt option when you actually go into Gantt mode. Click on it, and I like to add task names. Now let me scroll along here, and it will add the task names to the actual chart. If you hover over, you can see information come up for it as well. So I recommend doing that, but if it's too much going on text wise, then don't bother. And if I just scroll down here on the left, you can see learning plan was my main title at the top here. So that's in a thick blue option. And then my first task priority is another thick blue option there line. And then your tasks are all done underneath. And you can see for my tasks funding and accommodation. Accommodation finishes here. So the priority for the first task stops there. So have a little play around with that, and just another little tip here will be useful, because you'll be doing it and then you start getting a bit confused. In a sense, you might want one task to make sure it's finished before it starts another task. Well, you can do that on your map. Put the cursor over your bar, hold the left button down and drag, and you see this little line come up. Now connect it. Now what that's saying that funding must finish before we can start looking for accommodation. Okay, so that's depending on that finishing. So if I come back down here, hold the left button and drag down, and it works there as well. So you see if I drag this along now, hold the left button, that's dependent on that finishing. So you can join them up there quickly. Just play around with a few maps, see how you get on with that. Hope that was enough just to get you up and running. Thanks for watching.